That's right, House. I'm betting everything I got. I'm surprised you aren't drooling like a dog right now. I know. You think that with how rotten my luck is, I'd know how to quit. But honestly, gambling is the only thing that makes me feel alive anymore. Maybe my life would be just as rotten if I got around to living it. But too bad you're stuck with me slumming around here. Or maybe not so bad. There's gotta be a reason you go by House and run so many gambling dens. I mean, I get that the House always wins, but frankly, this just feels like overkill. Of course, I'm stalling, aren't I? I have a proposal for you, Mr. House. If that even is your real name. Think of it as a way of making the game more interesting. Relax, House. If I was really planning on robbing you, don't you think I would have done it before I dumped out everything I had on the table? Your face, though. Jesus, dude, you're so uptight. I thought you brought that thing with you tonight to wind you down, considering how much of a fanatic you are about keeping our private games private. I'm surprised you let anybody else in here. Let alone so close. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Thingamy. Well, yeah, House. I know that's not their name. But it's not like you're keen on sharing it. So they're just Thingamy. Unless you want me to give them a different cutesy nickname to refer to, of course. Mittens is always good. Is it not? Perhaps Kitten? Watch the blood vessel, Jeeves. You drive me crazy. Every time you tell me you couldn't hit up the Vegas circuit with a face like that, I still can't believe it. Please. If you really had a problem with my button mashing, you would have tossed me off the pier years ago, no matter the windfall I brought you. Don't try to tell me otherwise. Now, back to the subject at hand. Making the game more interesting. You don't have to take my gamble. God knows you don't have to. But there are really only so many ways to win at poker, pool, crackerjack, and paddywhack before even somebody of your stature gets bored of it all. Sure, I know that's a lot to assume of you, but I wouldn't assume as much as I do if I really thought I was wrong. What I'm thinking is that we should throw a little skin into the game. I mean, I've tossed away thousands of dollars in your direction, and you've tossed in millions, even with the off chance that I'll win it big always present in your mind. But face it, does the game even really feel like a gamble when there's no chance for risk? And anticipation. Drama of any sort. We've played these games over and over again, but we've really played the same game all our lives. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever changes. So, let's make some changes. I'm all in. And I'm ready to die any day that you want. And with luck, it can be tonight. Well, House, if you're really so worried about it, I never said that it had to be your skin in the game. You got a nice mittens all dressed up with no place to go. I'm sure Thingamy over here is thinking they lucked out if this was the night they're rented out for. Am I right, kitten? All the more reason to take the deal! Imagine not having to see the smug fucking face ever again. Or are you really more fond of me than you say you are? Because otherwise, I have an idea on how to make this night far more interesting if you're willing to throw Thingamy into the mix. Trust me when I say that the Eiffel Tower is a classic! Or maybe you'll throw yourself into the fray. That's a new one. Don't tell me your feelings were especially hurt when I said that you were an isolationist prick who would sooner die on his golden toilet than risk a single, solitary thing. Well, you knew I was thinking it. You know the drill. 6 chambers, 1 bullet. I'll hand it off to Thingamy to do the real dirty work. Because, let's face it doesn't matter how much I want to die if you don't trust that I really want to die, right? I'm guessing that's the angle you're taking here. It's not like I care, of course. What else do I have to live for outside of these games, right? You might have bought Thingamy off for the night as a sex doll, but let's face it. You're the one who really owns me. I'm surprised you haven't outright gotten a leash for me. Well, obviously I'd be into it. What's your point? Thank you, Thingamy. Honestly, such a polite little thing to have gotten your hands on. I'd like one of those for myself, if you don't mind me asking for it outright. Now, you know how this goes. However many cards that the loser still has in their hands by the end of the round has to pull the trigger that many times. And I suppose they'll just have to pray that they can count their hand on one hand. Of course, why am I really saying they? It's gonna be me. We both know that's going to be me. So why bother with the ambiguity, right? Still, why not play along for the hopes that things will be different, right? Isn't gambling as much about hope as it is about chance or even despair? People wouldn't do it if it was a truly hopeless sport, right? Even when you don't know how to play a game, there's always a chance you can win it. That's almost kind compared to most other activities, even most other games. Though, I thought you'd realize that kind of thing by now. After all, who can really lose literally every time? Unless they're doing it on purpose. Right? Oh, would you look at that? Would you call that a draw or a tie? I mean, what are the chances that neither of us would get rid of all our cards before the end of the game? Well, all right. Give me a go with the thing, House. We both have 3, so why don't we trade back and forth, so we don't have to go through it all at once? Why? To allow the anticipation to linger, of course. This is part of gambling too. And though the thrill is terrible, don't you too hope it could last? Your turn. My turn. Be careful now. I think the trigger's getting a little bit sticky. We wouldn't want it to misfire now, would we? Really make sure to pull it all the way down. Well, you know what they say, Thingamy. In heaven, the house always wins. Wasn't that a win in its own way? He achieved the little death. He received the actual death. And he doesn't have to pay taxes on those winnings. I really couldn't have done this without your help. Though I never would have thought of putting chapstick in the gun to make it misfire for an extra turn. That was brilliant. You were brilliant. And you are not getting your dues here. Oh, what did that bad man promise you? What did that serpent say to get you hang off his arm like that? I know you didn't really love him, and I have a sense that he wasn't looking for love from you. So, how about it? How would you like to be on the other side of the leash for a change? At the very least, it changes the game. Well, when it comes to you saying yes, let's just say that's the kind of wager I'd bet my life on. And I will bet my life on it. Over and over again. For as long as it takes for you to do so. So, how about a round of slapjack?